With no verdict in Denver, the wait goes on for the families of the Oklahoma City bombing victims.
This is the CBS Sunday Night News with Russ Mitchell.
And good evening. Oklahoma City bombing suspect Timothy McVeigh will have to wait at least another day to learn his fate. Jurors in the case are set to go back to work early tomorrow after taking half of this Sunday off. It was day 3 of deliberations, and attorneys for both sides are still showing brave faces. Scott Pelley is covering the trial.
On the third day, the jury voted for rest. Lawyers were summoned to the courthouse early. Judge Richard Mach, unaccustomed to a Sunday on the bench, told jurors, "I grant your request to take the rest of the day off. Take advantage of it." The jurors appeared relaxed. There was no visible sign of tension despite 20 hours of deliberations. Defense attorney Chris Tritico.
I don't know that you can ever view a long or short deliberation in any way, one way or the other. I've had in my career as much success with the 5-minute verdicts as I have with the 2-day deliberations, so there's no way to tell.
Prosecutors switched on smiles for the cameras.
We're just waiting. We felt the jury would be thoughtful and deliberative, and I think that's what they're being.
But the smiles quickly vanished. John Walsh is a former federal prosecutor.
Well, they can't be happy. On the other hand, it's not an unusual length of time for a jury to deliberate after hearing 5 weeks or almost 5 weeks of testimony.
McVeigh showed no signs of strain in court. With his lawyers, he appeared relaxed.
Do you think the jury's doing a good job?
Well, ask me after the verdict, Andy.
So far, the jurors have not sent out any note or asked any questions that might give a hint as to what they are thinking. But it did appear they are not especially close to a verdict because of their decision to take the rest of the day off and start fresh tomorrow. Scott Pelley, CBS News, Denver.
The delay means another night of tossing and turning for the families of bombing victims. Bob McNamara has that story from Oklahoma City.
This is a News 9 Denver Bureau update.
Okay, we have received word from News 9's Tammy.
Here, the word was agony.
The jury has recessed for the day.
This is just unbelievable.
After 2 years and 43 days of waiting, more waiting.
My patience is wearing thin, nerves are on edge. It's getting worse.
Many here thought a verdict would come quickly.
I hope that the longer it goes, McVeigh doesn't have a better chance.
That it would be guilty.
We've suffered long enough. We'd like to see justice done.
The longer we go, the more nervous I get.
Wanda Avery's son, Rick Tomlin, was killed by the massive truck bomb.
His office was 4th floor, directly above the truck.
For her and scores of other families, there's no justice in the delay.
Rick will never be here again. He won't be able to see his grandchildren.
They've got a man's life in their hands. And
Kathy Alaniz lost her father, Claude Majerus, and says waiting now is a tiny price to pay.
the 9 days of not knowing where my dad was, if he was alive, if he was dead, far beats what we're having to wait through now.
So for many, another sleepless night here, another day to get through tomorrow. But that is the emotional roller coaster of the past 25 months here. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Oklahoma City.
Still to come on the CBS Sunday Night News, flight attendants challenge the tobacco industry in court over secondhand smoke. And the Tonys, a salute to the best on Broadway's big night.
Alan's asthma attack woke me. At 3 a.m., you don't try some unknown brand. You trust Primatene Mist.
It starts to open clogged breathing passages in as fast as 15 seconds.
We take asthma seriously with Primatene Mist.
Fastest type asthma relief without a prescription.
I'm 62. Can I still help prevent osteoporosis?
It's never too late for Caltrate. Caltrate Plus has the extra calcium you need, plus 6 nutrients essential for healthy bones, whatever your age.
It's never too late for Caltrate.
Run with it, Nick.
Ever notice how some small business owners stay calm no matter what the pace?
Helps to delegate.
Sprint understands your business and your priorities.
Yeah, like deadlines, deadlines, deadlines.
Here at Sprint's Business Solutions Center, your assigned specialist knows you and how to help your small business.
Kate, has a new toll-free number helped classifieds?
Sales are way up.
Anything else we can do for you?
Yeah, Mike. Can you write editorials?
We help your business do more business. Call Sprint Business.
It's a jam with the super fruity fresh flavor of the finest ingredients. Gourmet-style jams, handmade by our very own Martha Stewart. This week on This Morning.
The widow of civil rights leader Malcolm X, 63-year-old Betty Shabazz, is in a New York hospital with life-threatening burns tonight. Police arrested her 12-year-old grandson following an early morning fire in her home that involved the use of an accelerant. The FBI said tonight that for the 5th year in a row, violent crime was down across the country in 1996. Cynthia Bowers tells us while most people applaud the decline, some have questions about how it was achieved.
The largest decline in violent crime comes in the nation's biggest cities, especially New York, which has cut its overall crime rate in half since 1990. Its murder rate is down even more. New York officials credit a crackdown on so-called quality of life offenses like public drunkenness and loitering. Business owners see a big difference.
As long as customers and people feel safer, they're willing to be out more, buying more, and this is important for all of us.
Not everyone feels safer. Some people say police initiatives result in a loss of liberty, that police crackdowns sometimes lead to a use of excessive force.
It's just like that in New York City.
Just ask Melvin Bullock. He says he was standing in front of this building when two police officers suddenly approached him.
Right over here. He came from behind me and he put his gun to the back of my head and told me to get on my effing knees, in which I complied, and he just started whacking me with his gun.
There may be some police officers who use excessive force or who are discourteous or rude, but I believe that organizations follow the signals of their leaders, and I've made it very clear to all police officers that that kind of conduct is not tolerated in this police department.
Americans may be relieved to hear that once again crime is down in most places, but some people wonder if enough attention is being given to the price we pay for those safer streets. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, New York.
A landmark class action tobacco case gets underway tomorrow in Miami. Cheryl Atkinson has more on the flight attendants who filed the first secondhand smoke lawsuit to go to trial.
1 through 13 have been set aside as our non-smoking.
Long before smoking was banned on most domestic flights, flight attendants spent hours each day working in tiny airline cabins clogged with cigarette smoke. So when Norma Broyne, who never smoked a day in her life, got lung cancer in 1989, she was convinced it was because of the constant exposure to secondhand smoke that transformed airplanes into smokers' lounges.
There wasn't a flight that you didn't fly where you just absolutely did not feel lousy. You had headaches. If one person smokes on a flight, everybody smokes. The air is just recycled and recirculated.
Broyne's case is what triggered the $5 billion class action suit. Also represented 60,000 other non-smoking flight attendants who claim they too got lung disease or other illnesses from secondhand smoke on passenger jets.
My tears used to be the color of coffee on the airplane from the tobacco smoke.
The tobacco companies are fighting the lawsuit by questioning the science that claims secondhand smoke is dangerous. If the flight attendants win, it could lead to a rash of new lawsuits by those who've never smoked at all, but have been forced to breathe in other people's smoke at one time or another, which includes millions of people. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, Washington.
A tragic crash today at an air show in suburban Denver. An F-86 Sabre jet of Korean War vintage climbed straight up, did a loop, then nosedived into the ground in a fireball. The pilot was killed, but none of the thousands of spectators was hurt.
Lose the buzz. Ooh, this elbow. I have Advil right here, Dad. If I try to leave.
Can't take more of this for hours, even if your arthritis pain comes back.
It's back. Well, next time, Advil. Then you'll be buying lunch.
Advanced medicine for pain.
They may never tell you, but people who have hemorrhoid symptoms use Preparation H more than all other name brands combined. It helps relieve all these symptoms, and it's formulated to reduce swelling. More people trust doctor-recommended Preparation H.
When Wall Street served up its stock du jour, the manager of Steinrow Growth and Income Fund dined elsewhere. He looked for the undervalued, the unfairly maligned, and whatever it took to find them, he did. Who knew to go with him? Over half are customers of Mutual Fund OneSource from Schwab, where over 600 no-load funds are all in one place, along with the tools to choose them. Call now and get our select list free. Investing the way it should be.
In France, socialists and other leftists took control of parliament in today's elections. They will be sharing power with conservative President Jacques Chirac. Voters rejected Chirac's economic austerity measures intended to prepare France for the coming European common currency. Monday is Election Day in Canada, with the future of Prime Minister Jean Chrétien's government on the line. In this country, politics gets back to business this week. Here's a look ahead. Monday, the Senate returns from a one-week vacation to take up a schedule that includes a vote to set aside emergency funds for flood victims in Minnesota and the Dakotas. And the National Women's Law Center announces legal action against 25 colleges and universities seeking compliance with the equal athletic scholarship provisions of Title IX. Tuesday is the 8th anniversary of China's armed crackdown on dissidents in Tiananmen Square. Human rights activists will mark the anniversary at a memorial at New York's Town Hall. Wednesday, the Federal Communications Commission holds hearings on the controversial new TV rating system, which some critics charge provides inadequate guidance to parents. Thursday in Washington, a family of Democratic Party fundraisers, the Lums, are expected to plead guilty in federal court to charges of arranging and delivering illegal political contributions. And Friday, President Clinton delivers the commencement address at the Sidwell Friends School in Washington. Among the graduating seniors, first daughter Chelsea. And Saturday sees the 129th running of the Belmont Stakes. Silver Charm has a chance to be the first Triple Crown winner since affirmed way back in 1978.
When Sam was hurting, he'd take Tylenol, but hours later, he'd have to take more. Then he discovered Aleve. He could take just 2 all day.
Tylenol was taking up to 8.
Aleve works up to 12 hours.
Aleve, all day strong, all day long. When you use Pam, the food gets all the attention. Because Pam never adds a funny aftertaste. Clean, 100% natural Pam. Taste the food, not the spray.
You know, some people think it's crazy to enter sweepstakes.
But not Sue Reeser.
I didn't, you know, there was a part of me that felt like I could do this someday.
But you did it.
And my friend said, what, are you crazy?
You're not crazy, you're rich.
Yeah.
You can get rich, too, at American Family.
Grand prize, $11 million, the biggest prize in our history.
Enter the only sweepstakes from us. You can win millions of dollars this fast. Next thing you know, we may knock on your door and say,
you've just won $11 million.
Only one of 2 Olympic champions finished today's $1 million match race in Toronto to determine the world's fastest man. Midway through the 150-meter run, American Michael Johnson pulled up with what he said was a leg injury. Canadian Donovan Bailey kept on going. In Chicago, tonight's opener of the NBA Finals to the Bulls at the buzzer. Utah's Karl Malone missed 2 free throws with the game tied. On the next and last play, Michael Jordan hit the winning basket. Chicago also cleaned up in New York tonight at the annual Broadway Tony Awards. Not only did the show win as Best Revival of a Musical, we're talking about the show Chicago. It picked up Tonys for Best Actress in a Musical for Bebe Neuwirth, Best Actor in a Musical, Best Director of a Musical, and Best Choreographer for Ann Reinking. But the night's biggest prize, the Tony for Best New Musical, went to the $10 million production of Titanic, which survived major technical problems to stay afloat. The Tony Award for Best Play went to The Last Night of Ballyhoo by Alfred Urey. And that's all for the CBS Sunday Night News. Have a good week. Good night.
I know a whoopee spot where the gin is cold, but the piano's hot. It's just a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl and all that jazz.
CBS News. El Nino, that mysterious warming in the Pacific that can cause severe weather, is making a comeback. But get this.
The coming of the El Nino and the prospect for increased disease, of course, makes us a little more nervous.
Did he say increased disease? The unknown threat of El Nino, Monday on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. CBS, welcome home.
No matter how hard they try, they just can't copy the Accord LX.
But you can lease the real thing for $239 a month for 24 months and an $1,150 down payment. But only from your Honda dealer.
Who knows where interest rates are going? Your Chrysler and Plymouth dealers know where they're going. They're going down. All the way down to 3.9%. That's right, 3.9% for up to 5 years on every new Plymouth car and select Chryslers at your Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. Or choose $1,000 to $1,500 cash back. This is the savings opportunity of the year. Low monthly payments on the cars you want. Only at your Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
The Simpsons, weeknights at 7:30 on KIMA TV 29.